Trinity, week 9. Better late than never, but Ray and I are here. We found the time. We're going live for the Trinity Report following week 8. This is the start of week 9. Apologize to our members that are tuning in a little late for maybe getting it in before waivers.
Hey, man. Hey, we
didn't make any promises that it would be every week. We try.
Man.
We try. So welcome in. This is the Trinity Report with Ray and I. We usually do this Mondays or Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays, but we try to get it to everybody early in the week so you can start making those moves. It is an interesting time right now in leagues, right? People are just searching for active bodies across basically their entire league landscape. So hopefully this show can help you. If you do not have the tool and you're watching this, ddfantasyfootball.com gets you access to the tool. And if you're watching this live, you're obviously a member, but if you're not, you can join our Trade and Chill tier on YouTube. You get access to this show early and live. Also, the Dynasty Deal show that we do on Fridays. That is our proprietary trade show with Shane, myself, and Ty DeClaire. So get in the community. Let us know if you got any questions, but let's get into it. Trinity, week 9, what's on your mind? This is the first time we've talked about it together. So where do you want to look? Week overall?
Yeah, this is, I always do this. I start off looking at who led the week, who's done what, who's leading the year. I'm on the report right now. Let me go to the thing. So let's go week 8, right? Week 8. Let's just see what week 8 looks like. And here we are. Week 8. Who's this at the front? DeVonta Smith, way up there in usage, down low. You got Waddle up there. Troy Franklin. Who's this? Tucker Kraft. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that production. Think it's a receiver. Maybe it's Puka.
Good usage.
What'd you say?
It's like Trey Tucker, but with actual usage, right?
It's probably something you can continue. I mean, goodness. Let's see who some of these other outliers are. Who's this, Scott? Who had an outlier performance but not a lot of usage? I have not hovered over the dot. I don't know who it is. Have a little fun. It's a blue dot, so I'm going to think it's K-Shot.
Not a lot of usage.
I'm going to go Booty.
It could be. I'm trying to think of guys that had huge. I mean, Khalil Shakir had a huge week.
It's Dallas Goedert. We were way off. Damn tight ends are on the screen. Get the tight ends off the screen. All right, let's see. There's Khalil Shakir. So if it would have been there's Khalil. There's your guy. Shakir's right there. There's Josh Downs. Xavier Hutchinson. Okay. Michael Pittman way up there. Scott. And Rashee Rice. He's been back for 2 weeks. Rashee Rice been back for 2 weeks, Scott, and he's right where he left off, man. 7, 9, 2, 24 points, right where he left off. Week 8, where do you want to start? What do you want to talk about? We got some members in the building. Appreciate y'all being here. We're going to talk about it. I'm excited. I'm excited. Week 8. We're going into week 9. It's time to make bets, make moves. What's going on with y'all in the building? People are saying Gadsden. They want to see the Chargers. So let's just
let's hit our weekly. We have to look at the Chargers. I mean, and I'll be fair, Ray. I was looking at that. I put out that offensive environment thing that I was working on, and honestly, you obviously gravitate towards the tip top of those environments because those are the fun ones to talk about, right?
Right.
And just through week 8, I actually just updated it before the show. Through week 8, I mean, it's consistently the. The fun teams at the top, and the Chargers have been one of them. So I know I kind of joke every week we have to take the token look at the Chargers, but there's a reason. It's one of the most fun ones to look at.
I'm just telling you the simplicity of the tool. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Without anything, if you're just like, I'm going to look at this chart and bet the fact that 4 guys' names are on the screen. They're all at the far right. They're all above the line. There's not a single dot below the line. There may be some players that aren't used. This is a good offense. Without looking at anything, I can tell you unequivocally, this is a good offense, right? Then you start to put the data and but you can tell. This is a situation I want a part of. You know, situation that you really don't want a part of? Look, that's Carolina. That's all you want. It's just McMillan, and he's below the damn line. And a whole bunch of dots back here, way low. It's the simplicity of it. It's the beauty of it. But let's talk LAC. Yeah, week 8, Gadsden balled out. He's good. He's an awesome fucking fit on this team. He is. He's incredible.
Let's just go the last 3 weeks because I think, or even the last 2 or 3 weeks, because I mean, QJ did nothing. Didn't even register in week 8 because he didn't score a point. But let's include him in there. Let's talk a little bit about like the entire. Well, even if you just want to go like
week 5,
let's go week 6. Let's go week 6 through 8 because I think that's when QJ came back. Let's go to week 6 through 8 just to look at it in that range, and it shows you that. I don't want to say QJ's been replaced by Gadsden, but he kind of has.
Yeah.
And so that's where the discussion of, okay, we can clearly say the pecking order for you would be what? Ladd has to be number 1, right? Just given the fact that he's young, he's getting the best usage on the team. He's still kind of probably going upward in his career potentially. And then you have Gadsden in the same regard. He is a tight end, so you have to factor in that tight end's a different position than receiver. But I think you'd take Keenan Allen over QJ rest of the year, right? If Keenan Allen plays, you'd rather have him on a weekly basis. Is that fair?
Yes.
So then you got to go, okay, if I'm telling you, first of all, the 4th option in an offense, before I even get to the 3rd option in the offense, right, it needs to be an environment that is plus. It needs to be an environment where all the things we talk about typically, pass rate, pass efficiency, all those things have to be high for me even to care about the 3rd option or the 4th option. Hell, a lot of teams, I don't even care about the number 2.
Right.
Because the environment sucks so bad.
Right.
But now that you know QJ's the number 4, let's talk about what that actually means in terms of like logistics going forward. He's still a guy that be given the environment, if I have him, I'll still start him. But is it a player that you would want to acquire given this huge? That even if you could get for the old QJ price, where it's like a 3rd and a running back or a late 2nd or something like that, you still want to do it given the environment and how volatile they can be week to week? That's kind of my thought, because he could be a buy low if you're willing to say this is an environment that's just going to truck 3 options every week. And if you have one of those 3, they're locked and loaded starters.
I'm going to say
that's
this,
kind of how I view it. He's just on the outside right now.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to flip the screen around. For the first 4 weeks of the season, people were talking about, do you even want Ladd McConkey for the first 4 weeks? People were legitimately, it's over for Ladd McConkey. Do you want Quentin Johnston? Like, the issue with him is he's already had stank on him. He's already had stank on his profile, on all of that stuff. Like, he has, right? But realistically, he's still going to be in line for touchdowns. He's a part of good offense. And I want you to look at this, right? He's averaging close to 14 points per game, correct? Right now? How do you spell Quentin? How do you spell goddamn Johnston? Johnston. There we go. We're going to just look at his range of outcome based on what he did last year, okay? This is looking back to look forward. So based on what he did last year, Quentin Johnston's fantasy football range of outcome for the 2025 season on the high end was about 14, 15 points per game. His medium range outcome, 50th percentile historical range for what he did last year, is about 10 points per game. There's probably a good bet, you know where Quentin Johnston finishes his season at? Somewhere in between that. Right there. Like he's probably a good bet to be right in line with that. Do you want him? I would say no, but would I just give him away for peanuts? No. Still a great environment. It's a great offense with a great quarterback and a team that wants to throw the ball. What it really shows is that he's never really had value. Like the value was relative to what he was producing. If QJ goes out there and goes back-to-back weeks and scores a touchdown, people will be like he's a flex. His value is just what it is when he's producing. He doesn't have true value. Same with Keenan Allen, though. Same with Keenan Allen. He's just got way more credit because he's actually been great in his NFL career, where QJ hasn't.
Yeah, and that gets back to if someone says, I'll offer you both Keenan Allen or Quentin Johnston. I think the key with, and that we'll look at some other situations that have similar arguments, is the key is I would take Keenan Allen over QJ the rest of the year. But that's that could flip in any given week, right? Like that could literally flip in 2 weeks because they're both part of the environment. Neither are the primary option. If you told me the next weeks it's QJ over Keenan Allen, it wouldn't shock me. I think the difference is, what do you not have to pay for when you buy Keenan Allen, Ray?
That youth.
There is no dynasty price.
Yeah, you don't got to.
It's you either get him off the other roster because they don't want him anymore, and they give him to you, or they just won't trade him because they're starting him. QJ, it's like the same argument can apply, but you have to pay the fact that he's a dynasty asset. And I think the point of this whole conversation is a player like that is in his 3rd year, that is not going to burn you and become an elite pass catcher in the league. He is a commodity for what he can do now. As soon as I have to pay the dynasty tax, I'm not interested in adding the second into the deal to get him. I can find production elsewhere. So,
all right,
let's go to the Chiefs.
I wanted to go KC. I swear to you, I was going KC.
No, 7-8. Got to look at Rice since his 2 games back and just how dominant he's been.
I'm just putting him up here. It's a per game thing, but this is like everybody else's full usage and then his 2 games. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, you could filter for the last 2 games and it will just watch what it'll do, but it's still Rice is going to be there. It's a clear pecking order.
He doesn't. He's there regardless of week 1 through 8 or 7 through 8. It just shows, where the other players are in the games that he played with them.
Right.
But I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, I heard on a bunch of podcasts in the last day, man, I wish I would have gotten into Rice quicker. I wish I would have bought more when he was low. And it's easy to say that, but I think you just have to move the gauge a little bit higher here. So here's going to be my question for you. There's obviously a little risk with what happened with him off the field thus far, right? But aside from all that, ignore that for, what his value is. Jamar Chase or Rashee Rice rest of the year, now that we got Flacco dealing with injury. I'm just saying.
It's a conversation. I can entertain it. It's hard for me to pass up. Jamar's getting literally 15 plus targets a week, 15 plus.
Right. I just started at like the wide receiver 1, and it was even a small hesitation of I could see where it could be the other side.
Right. Jefferson
again. If you're willing,
easy.
I think he's if you're not smash producing right now, you're ignoring the dynasty value argument, which people are going to make. Oh man, Rice is going to get arrested in the offseason, blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't know any of that.
No.
If you just look at it 1-for-1, situation, age, past production, like Rice over the last, what did he play last year? 3 games?
Oh, it was ridiculous.
The year before that. And then this year, you take Rice's last, 20 games, and they probably blow Justin Jefferson's out of the water. You know what I mean? That's
I don't know about that, but I know he was good in those 3 games.
When I say blow him out of the water, if you didn't know about any of if the problem with Rice is that hasn't, his last 20 games has encompassed 3 seasons. So, I mean, there's a reason that people are a little hesitant to do that. But how high do you move them? Like, I'm thinking here going like, man, I don't even think you can't even get to Rice with like neighbors anymore.
You don't think so?
Who in the chat, if you're listening to this, and I'm not even considering like, okay, it's an obvious tanking move, right? If you're both in a range where there's some investment on what happens the rest of the year, I don't think so, Ray. I think if we did a startup right now, I think unless the team is saying I'm just tanking for next year, I think Rice goes over neighbors.
Jay Rich and I looked at it this morning. I think he was still outside the top 15 receivers.
That ain't real value, though. That's just not realistic trade value. I agree. That's just not realistic value, though. I mean, who was ahead of him? Garrett Wilson, Drake London. Nico Collins is still ahead of him in Dynasty. Yeah. I mean, what are we doing?
You're a fool if you take that Rice over Nico. Listen, man, he's got a dope role in an offense where they make it very easy for him to touch the ball. They give him rush it like he's their wide. He's not Tyreek Hill, but he's like their new version of a souped up young Travis Kelce. And everything flows through him. But we talked about it on the last Trinity episode, or I did when I was on the solo one. I love Kelce. Like, Kelce's the two here. Kelce's the two here. Worthy is explosive as hell, man. You can see it, but he's not over Travis Kelce right now in the pecking order. He's not. Kelce's been good, man. Last couple of Kelce on the season, because he was supposed to not even be there, right? He actually has looked pretty damn good for a player who was supposed to retire. Last 2 weeks when Rice gets back, isn't it funny? Rice gets back. Prior to Rice, Kelce for the season is about 12 points per game. Rice gets back, and in those 2 weeks, he's bumped up to 15 points a game. Travis Kelce.
I mean, look at the chat, Ray. Chase Brown plus Neighbors to get Rashee Rice. Give me Rice over Neighbors. Neighbors isn't elite until he's back on the field. Rebuilder, they'll take Neighbors. Okay. It's just interesting. And maybe that's just the reactionary nature of some of our community members. But I was just sitting there thinking, like, if you had to pick, definitely rest it. Here's the thing.
Damn. Plus, that ship has sailed. You need to add a plus to Neighbors to get into Rice. And there was points in the offseason where you probably could have traded BTJ and gotten Rice in a third back whenever his career was over.
Yep.
And the crazy part, the crazy part is, man, like, he should be better next year when his knee is like a year removed. He should be better. Worthy's got his roll down. We'll figure out what's going on. Kelce, no grade, doesn't matter. Hopefully Kelce still plays. Who knows? But he should only get better. Like, this is there are some people who aren't going to want to deal with him now. There are just some people who are like, I don't trust it. He's going to speed again. And then, you know.
Well, it's the kind of thing that as soon as we get to the offseason, I mean, we know how this is. As soon as you get to the offseason, people would probably take Neighbors again, especially if he's coming back and his recovery is good. I mean, but that's just that offseason value, right? I want Rice while he's smashing, and as soon as there's any risk that something could happen or he doesn't get a contract or whatever the drama is, you'd take the asset that you feel more safe with. But that's just not how the market is. The market, I don't know, it's probably got Rice in the top 5. None of that KTC where he's wide receiver 15 behind Nico freaking Collins. But anyway, where else
Worthy since Rice has been back, 5.1 Trinity, 9 points per game. Listen, I mean, Worthy, I'm just happy he's on the field after his shoulder got rocked off the bone in the first game. So he missed the first, what did Worthy miss? The first 3-4 games. He just kind of hobbling through out there. So Worthy is not the focal point at all. Not the focal point at all. Still in a good offense. Rashee Rice smashing. All right, Scott, where do you want to go, man? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
So I'm just looking at these environments and
give me a team. Give me a team. Green Bay?
Let's go to the Yeah, you know what? We can go to Green Bay. We talked about that one for those that were not in there. What time were we up last night in voice chat? It was like damn near 1:00 your time.
Dude, not again. Not again.
that used to be the
old
time,
the old
late
standard. We used to stay in voice chat all night. Not anymore, man. I need some sleep. But let's go Green Bay. Green Bay, this is them for the season. Okay?
Okay.
Green Bay for the season. Leader in, it was only one game played, so if we filter it out, I mean, Watson won't be there, but you got Watson in that one game, but it's really Dobbs, Tucker Kraft. I do think it's kind of cool to see, as soon as he got back, look at how he got used immediately. That you know what I mean? Like, as soon as Christian Watson was available, they just threw it to him in advantage. I think that is very telling. But here's week 8. There's week 8, Tucker Kraft way up there. 2 other guys right below the line, decent usage. I think this is Savion Williams with the touchdown and Malik Heath right here. Where's Golden at? Matthew Golden back here. All right, so that's in week 8. Here's Green Bay for the season. Right here. You've got Watson, you've got Dobbs, you've got Tucker Kraft. That's Matthew Golden right there. Dontavian Wicks and then there's Jaden Reed from the one game that he played or 2 games that he played in. My initial takeaway is Watson got back and they just threw him right back in the fold. Like, this dude tore his ACL. No one really thinks about him as this. He feels like a nice to have, but not a gotta have. And then the week that he gets back, Jordan Love is looking for him down the field. I know he had a big play in that one, but he was a part of the offense in this one, much more so than some of the other pass catchers. But my real overarching takeaway is I think Tucker Kraft is starting to turn into the primary, right? Like, that's the one in this offense. We've been searching all these years. The crazy part about it, Scott, we've been searching. Let me just go back, because range of outcome does not include the tight end. It's just looking at the wide receivers. Let me go Green Bay 2024. Because the wide receiver one or the player one or however you want to call it might have been under our nose the whole time. And it wasn't Watson, it wasn't Dobbs, it wasn't Golden, it was the damn tight end, Scott Connor. It could very well be the tight end who's been the one the whole time. What are your thoughts on Green Bay?
Well, yeah, I mean, I wanted to kind of get you to talk a little about what we talked about last night with Tucker Kraft.
Talk about it. Bring it up for
he's
the people.
The one. He's probably, I think we said, where would you put him in the range of Bowers and McBride and Warren? Like, is he getting up into that range? And I think some people are still hesitant. And that's what the arguments were. Because, of course, you see these victory laps, both sides, for people that are, the fade Tucker Kraft in the offseason because he's not going to get enough volume. You know what I mean? But then you look at that, how he's winning, and the fact that you don't need him to probably get 8 targets a game to perform. I mean, he's got a ton of weeks where he's way above the trend line, right? But his usage is still good. Like, the types of volume he's getting is really good. So it's probably, he's the discount. He's the guy we were willing to say, is he the next Kittle? Is he the next Mark Andrews? Both those guys have had narratives of they don't get enough volume or it's not the right passing attack. But you know what both those passing attacks had over the years and what the Packers have right now? Packers have one of the top 7 or 8 environments, right? And that's with a low neutral pass rate, but it is with a hell of an efficient offense. And with this usage, like, you're kind of just willing to say, all right, Tucker Kraft can live on 6 targets a game, and he's going to outpace that a lot of weeks. So then it's like, if you put him there, you put him in the top 5, top 4, top 5. He's closer to those elite tight ends than not. But then it brings into, like, what do you do with the receivers? But that's my thoughts.
So here's Green Bay's usage last year in 2024. The leader in just raw usage was Romeo Doubs, and then you have Christian Watson. Jaden Reed is right here, 4.93, 12 points per game. And then Tucker Kraft, 4.46, 9 points per game. It's not that this is a very high number, but when you look at this chart and just think about the players, the only 2 that produced, like, positive expectation, like baseline stuff, they're giving you a little more than other players in that range. Only 2 players in the meaningful range were above the regression line. It's Jaden Reed and it was Tucker Kraft. And I think both players, if you just said, are those, like, probably pretty good players? Should the Green Bay Packers use? I mean, people have been championing for Jaden Reed to be used way more than he's used now, because those 2 are probably pretty good players. It's just interesting to see that even back last year, the only 2 above that line were damn Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed. And I'm not counting whoever this is back here, Malik Heath. That's probably why Malik Heath still gets used, because he's not bad, right? But I'm just, the ones that get used were Kraft and Reed. And I think we'd say both of those players are probably really good players. And the one that's producing this year, and if you look at the score, he was like a 4.6 something last year. It hasn't ballooned to like 8, 9. It's a 5.7, but he's above the line still. Like, it shows that he probably was pretty good, and now he can live off of some of that efficiency. I think he's in the range, man. The only tight ends in Dynasty that I'd want to definitively, like, without a shadow of a doubt ahead of him right now would be Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, and I think you can have a conversation with Tyler Warren. I really do. I think if you wanted to have a conversation, Warren versus Kraft, you're not crazy for that. And he's about to get a mega deal, probably. He's probably next in line to get a massive tight end contract. I think he's in there. I think he's in that range.
I think he's very similar to Warren in how he fits in his offense. It's the other receivers and the other players around him. You have to kind of figure out what do you want to do with them. I mean, we talked about it, I think, maybe after what was it? I think it was week 6 because they had a week 5 bye. We talked about the Matthew Golden usage, and we were like, this is going to be the big stretch for him. You know what I mean? If he's going to separate himself from the pack, this is going to be the stretch. And here we are, week 6 through 8. Just go to 6 through 8 for Green Bay real quick. And just look at where Matthew Golden fits in there. I know Watson just came back this week, but just look at where Matthew Golden fits in usage. It went backwards. And then Watson comes back and gets used how he did.
Yeah.
And Reed's going to come back eventually. Like, there's 4 receivers here that probably all do specific things. How do you play the receivers? I'm looking at this like it's a good environment. But it is an environment where I'm interested. This isn't the Chargers. This isn't the Chiefs where I'm willing to throw in the 4th option. And I'm not even sure who are the options 2 through 5. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably Dobbs. Then it's like, what happens when Reed comes back? But man, what's the takeaway on Matthew Golden? It feels like, yes, he was a first-round receiver. Yes, he's going to get multiple opportunities within this offense next year, even the year after, to carve out a bigger role. But this isn't the type of offense where
when we were talking last night, the comp I said, and then we'll move on because I want to hit some more teams. A lot of people.
You nailed it. You nailed the comp. Let's hear it.
Matthew Golden is the new Rashad Bateman. He's the new Rashad Bateman. All the metrics when he's thrown the ball are really, really good. Like, when they get him the ball, he's good. Bateman was a former first-round pick. I believe he was picked either in the late teens or the early 20s, around where Golden was. Really good fit for the Baltimore Ravens. There are times where you see flashes where Bateman could do it. Now, I know Bateman had some injuries. I'm not wishing that on Golden, but role-wise, dude, there's so many overlapping skill sets. Every week, it's just going to be roulette. And the only differentiator in the wide receiver room, Reed and Golden and Watson and Dobbs and Heath and Wicks, they all can kind of do similar things. The only thing in Green Bay's offense that is unique to the offense outside the quarterback is Tucker Kraft. That's the one. Matthew Golden's a good player. He's probably a really good fit for Green Bay, and he's going to have some moments, and he's probably pretty good. But unfortunately, you're playing in an offense that now flows through Tucker Kraft, and you've got other players who are equally as talented on your roster. People want to see the Colts, Scott. So let's pull up Indy.
All right.
Pull up Indy, and we'll try to go through these maybe a couple of minutes on each team so we can get through as many as possible. Indianapolis for the season, people are saying a lot of mouths to feed in Indy. I don't think it's I don't read the chart like that. Yes, there are a lot of good pieces that you want, but there's a pecking order of how they're being used and how it's really turning into fantasy points. Like, I said it like this last night, right? Scott, I'm going to say this, and I want you to respond because I don't think you were in the voice chat at this time. The tool in itself, right? You look at this and you can see where the dots, where the players lie, who's producing, who's doing what. But like, we see what's happening. The thing that the tool does not have is context. It doesn't know that Daniel Jones is the quarterback. It doesn't know that Indy is rolling at 7-1. It's just giving you the data visualized. We know this offense is dope. Like, this offense is freaking outstanding. And even though Josh Downs may be 4th in the usage pecking order, like, he's still getting you close to 9.5 points per game. You look at what they've done. Let's just go over the last 3 weeks. Like, that's what what do? I'm probably going to play all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no difference between this situation in Los Angeles outside of the fact that, yes, Daniel Jones may not throw as much as Herbert. We may not like him as much, but it's the same type of situation. I look at Alec Pierce. If I needed a desperation ceiling flex, I'm going to just throw Alec Pierce out there. I'm playing Warren, I'm playing Pittman, and I'm playing Downs every single week. What you got? And there's nothing else. There's 80 Mitchell's gone, out of the way. Ashton Doolin to get his 1 catch a game, doesn't do nothing else. No Mo Alley Cox. There it is. Consolidation at its finest. Does this not look beautiful? and they're way above the line. 3 of them.
It does. I mean, this isn't. Here's how I would break it down. They rank top 5 in neutral pass rate and passing efficiency. So right there alone tells me every time they throw, and they're throwing at a pretty good clip, you probably want something attached to that passing play, right? And obviously there's a running back that gets a lot of workload, but that's probably what's elevating the passing efficiency to a degree. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going out there going, we're just going to pass. Like, they're out there going, we're going to run probably to set up our efficient passing game.
100%.
But here's the thing. That's how they sustain it with such a high neutral pass rate, because their rush EPA is also very high. So the offense as a whole, like, both of the parts of the offense are making the other really
in
good,
sync.
Which is why they can throw it at a 60% clip, even with Daniel Jones, and still be so efficient. And here's the one detriment, and I'm starting to measure this, Ray. We can use Trinity to do this. It's probably an easier way than me doing it manually, but they rank 17th in concentration score. So what I'm doing is taking the Trinity and looking at, like, the top 3, and I'm just using top 3 because I think some offenses go 1 deep and some offenses can go 4 or 5 deep. But I'm looking at the top 3 concentration in each offense. And the problem with the Colts is they obviously have a 4th guy.
Yes.
And so their concentration score is like middle of the pack. But when all I see that's weighing the score down is a low concentration score, that just tells me that, A, you may not love Downs or Pierce, but if one of them wasn't there, you probably like them even more. But you like them as they are because they're in an environment where either of them in a given week are probably really good bets to thrive, and that's not even getting to clearly Pittman and Warren, who are the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of these situations where you may say, "Oh, I don't like the ups and downs of Josh Downs or Alec Pierce." But if you're just looking for that fill in, throw in flex receiver, this is one of the 8 environments or so where you just say, I can't trade my way to an upgrade without paying a significant price. This is the type of offense I just want to start that 4th guy. And the way to navigate it is, you know what you trade to get like an Alec Pierce? One of these guys that are in these absolutely shitty situations where you don't want anybody from those teams. You know what I mean? Can I give you Jerry Jeudy for him? Can I give you Xavier Legette for him? Somebody like, those are the environments I don't want that peripheral receiver. So can I get out? That's how you play the Trinity to your benefit. Can you trade Xavier Legette for Alec Pierce? I think that's a reasonable deal you could get done, right? Because Legette was a 1st rounder and he's still young. But if I'm going to get 3 weeks the rest of the year, it's probably going to come from one of these offenses.
All right, let's move on to a new situation. Let's talk about the people in the chat have requested Houston. They've requested the Houston Texans. So let's try to rapid fire it up a little bit so we can get through a few more. We'll go week 8. Look at what Houston did without Nico Collins. What's that start rate on Xavier Hutchinson, Scott? 0. Jaylen Noel, 6.8, 11 points. Jaden Higgins scored a touchdown. Braxton Berrios was getting targets. Thoughts here?
Well, if you started Dalton Schultz, you weren't happy. I was told he was going to absolutely smash and had one of his worst games.
Well, he got hurt too.
But isn't it interesting though because that was the narrative last week, is Schultz is a great flex play because Nico's not there. But really, he probably is just a tight end that is never the best play in the offense. You know what I mean? But he's better when there is Nico out there because it makes his job a little easier.
Yes.
But I don't know, man. This is encouraging for Jaylen Noel. I don't know what to take away from this. Like, hopefully you captured the Jaylen Noel week last week or the Xavier Hutchinson week last week. But
look at this for the season.
Yeah.
I don't. My bigger takeaway was this. It's the last 2 weeks. I don't know, man. Like, there's still a lot of bodies out there. CJ Stroud, to his credit, played excellent football on Sunday. It's good to see Noel used. I think there's some upside there. I'll say this. Young receiver tethered to young quarterback. Like, these two are always going to be battling it out. But it is the eye test, Scott. You know how that goes in fantasy football. That old eye test.
Yeah, that eye
metric, right?
test.
Eye test. That eye test is he's pretty fast and pretty good. Like it is. Like he looked pretty damn good out there. He feels like he's like in the Tez Johnson range. Like me and Jay Rich did a show. Would you rather Tez Johnson or Jaylen Noel?
Jaylen Noel.
Same.
I think there's more to his There's more to his profile.
Same.
There's more meat on the bone if this continues at all. Then I'd rather have him. Yes.
Same. You know what would have been better looking at this if I'm being greedy? Can I be Trinity greedy here? I would have liked to see like a clear 1 or 2 here. That would have been cool to see. Like Noel got fed, you know? One of these guys kind of really separated themselves and they were all used in meaningful ways. And even Braxton Berrios was out there soaking up targets. So we'll see. I don't have a big takeaway from Houston, man. Like overall, it's still like for the season, you know, you just look at them, it's not great because the environment, I think we're just happy to see CJ Stroud play well, but let's not forget this environment is still not very good.
And you know where they come in? They come in literally right in the middle. It's an average environment.
You know, everyone's right in the middle of the screen. Not at the bottom like Carolina, but they're in the middle of the screen.
No, it's an average environment, but you know what I want to see if it's an average environment? A clear concentration. And right now they're using 4 receivers and a tight end. So it's not you could sell me on Noel or Higgins if they separate from the pack, but it doesn't appear. I mean, we're not even talking Christian Kirk is coming back.
I know.
Which is just it's a good historical gnat. You know what I mean?
100%. So it's just,
Noel and Higgins are the kind of guys where you might, speaking of who do we talk about before? The Colts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I move one of those guys? Can I move Higgins to get Alec Pierce in a third or swap a second and a third? I'll take the volatility of the good offenses over the volatility of the Texans if we're talking about the 3rd or 4th guy in the pecking order. So that's how you use this to your advantage. And that's not saying Pierce is a better player than Higgins, but if I have to start that range of player, I think there's some value to be had because those guys still carry some name value, man. That Jaylen Noel breakout, that's an old D-Bro favorite. There's a lot of people that still like Noel and Higgins. Like they're going to be the 2 and 3. I like them both, whatever.
Chicago.
Ugh.
Odunze got it going, man. Odunze got it going. Odunze was good. Let's go since the bye.
As I say, until you go week 6 through 8.
Ugh.
For a reminder of people that are looking at this.
Let me go 7 through 8. Does it make it? It makes it.
No.
Good Lord.
No, I was going to say for the reminder of the people that have not watched this before, what does it mean when you see everybody a good 3 centimeters below the line?
It's not good. Quarterback was out there not doing what they needed to do. So right here, and to Caleb's credit, they lost the game, and it hurts. But he didn't play like god awful. Look at the lines. He wasn't the worst. I mean, he was the worst, but not really the worst. But over the last 3 games post-bye, he's been one of the worst quarterbacks. Like they're getting to the red zone. They don't score touchdowns. I believe they're bottom 3 in red zone touchdown rate down there with the Carolina Panthers. The Houston Texans are low. Chicago is very, very low. I looked up some numbers for him yesterday doing an article. Week 8, you're happy Odunze finally converted because at the start of this, when they came out of the bye, I believe they played the Commanders. Odunze scored a touchdown got called back. He had back-to-back 2 reception games. People started to question, oh man, I knew it. I knew he was a bust in 2024. But in week 8, it was a large priority. You knew who they were trying to get the ball to right away. Number 15. I think he got 3 catches early, and then they just kept feeding him. He missed a lot, but Odunze was back. So you got to feel, look at him for the season. Where's Rome at for the season for Chicago? He's the only one above the line, and he's at 15 points per game right now. I'll let you take it.
Well, and they got Cincy this week. They got Luther Burden with a concussion. Zacchaeus got injured. Komet's still injured. So, this is probably one of those where you sell high on Odunze after this week based on this usage? If he has a big game against the Bengals, which you could probably expect, where are you at on what you would add to him to get like Rashee? No?
No.
Okay.
I think he's in that range, man.
So if you think if you can upgrade environments,
Rashee, I would do it. But I'm not giving you like a first on top of Odunze.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm assuming he goes out and has a 26-point game or something like that, where people are, how people are reactive, right? Once they see it again, dude, that people are dying to be excited about Caleb and the Bears, right? They just are. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if he has a big game, they look good. I guess my question was more geared towards the Bears are kind of like the Texans. It's like an average environment across the board. And what would you be willing to add to get into one of those real fruitful environments? Like, would you rather have Lad or Odunze? And what about? Maybe a little Dynasty, bigger pie for Odunze, but a better environment for Lad,
I would still rather have Odunze.
Okay.
I mean, he's done what we kind of wanted him to do. We've seen it. Here's the excuse that I'll make for Rome. Okay? Here's the excuse that I'll make for Rome. And it's all data driven, right? It's not my opinion. Tell me who has been good. Host by. Look at the screen. Which one of them have been? Like none of them. This isn't Burden's like they've been bad. All of them. And you're not going to sell me that it would be very different if like one guy was getting it all and he was dragging ass. He's still leading the way in overall usage, and none of them are good. Like the offense, like it's not just him. So I think you go back to weeks 1 through 4 pre-bye, nobody was asking questions when he was way up here. Not a soul. Mm-hmm. Usage is relatively the same. He was scoring 4 more fantasy points, and nobody was asking that question. And during that time, he was the only one above the line. And if you look at it right now, he's still the only one above the line. Rome's not the issue, man. No, if I get Rice, that'd be great, but I'm not adding much to that Odunze.
Yeah, you just need the offense as a whole to be better. Maybe the concentration gets a little better, but I'm not as worried about that with him because he's clearly the one above everybody else. You just need Caleb to be better.
That's it.
You need the offense as a whole just to be better. Caleb's 20th in efficiency since the bye. So not the bottom, like he's not down in damn Carson Wentz range.
But here's where they're not good at. This is where I'm telling you, right? The team is bottom 3 in red zone touchdown percentage. They're number 1 in field goals since over the last 3 weeks. They get to the red zone. They've kicked more field goals than any other team. Like they're not scoring, right? Yes, the Bears are 50. I saw Brett Coleman's tweet, 54% of their drives end in scores. Number 4 in the NFL. Yeah, the field goal kicker's probably smashing on your fantasy kicker lineup leagues. Because that's what they're doing.
Coming in 2027, the kicker trinity, right?
Yeah, get that kicker trinity in there. Josh wants Tennessee the last 2 weeks.
Okay. That's when I don't think we've ever looked at Tennessee other than highlighting that
how awful it's terrible. Well, let's just give people a peek at that. Here it is for the full season.
Okay, we got
there. It is for the full season. The last 2
maybe
weeks,
getting a little better, maybe a little tiny better.
It's getting a little better. The last 2 weeks, fire at Callahan, and they're still below the line, but a little bit better. But Chimere Dike leading the way.
Yeah, I mean,
told people a long time ago, like I liked him. I like the deep play guy, big play guy with the big play quarterback.
So here's where the environment score helps, right?
Oh, so Scott, one more thing to Chicago. Number 1 in the NFL in big plays per game. Number 1. Marcus Mosher put that tweet out there a game. 8 big plays per game. Number 1 in the Harmon and I talked about it yesterday. The segment is what is Chicago? Because as an offensive team, they're pretty good. Caleb Williams, not good. QB, 30, 28 in fantasy points per game. It is the strength. I cannot wrap my head around how a team offensively is pretty damn good, but the quarterback's that damn bad.
Right, you're scaring me by the minute, man. You're scaring me by the minute.
Why?
No, because I'm just envisioning right now, this is the week. I mean, with everything you're just citing, they score at the highest rate, can't execute in the red zone, like highest big play rate. Like this could be the breakout game against the Bengals, man. If they put it all together, we could see like an 8 touchdown game.
It's the strangest. The quarterback's got to get it done. The QB's got to get it done. I'm just sharing the data. But yeah, what do you think about Dike?
So it got a little better, but the Titans are still the worst environment in the league. I mean, their pass rate is 28th. Their passing efficiency is still last. Their plays per game is second. And of course, their target concentration overall for the year is bottom in terms of concentration. They're onto a ton of guys, and the percentage is very low for their top 3. All that to say, DK is doing pretty much everything you could ask.
Hell yeah,
in this environment, right? But think about the name I've gotten from the last couple of weeks from him. He's averaged 16 points a game over the last 2 weeks. I know he had a really good game here in week 8. But like this is what you get when you get a elite usage guy in a bad environment, right? This is what it feels like. This is not.
There he is.
A 25 point per game receiver. You know what I mean? You're hoping you get like a wide receiver.
That's a good point.
Even in best usage ever, you put him in a terrible environment, it's still going to be a little stinky.
And those guys
are everything you could imagine.
And those guys are scared. That's a great freaking point. He's getting the and then Scott, just look at where that ranks. Dude, this is a beautiful illustration of it, right? Week 7 through 8. Remember where he looked like he was at on the chart for Tennessee, right? Way up there by himself. Mm-hmm. Look at what that elite usage looks like around other players in the NFL.
Yep.
Like that's the ceiling for Tennessee's pie. Stops right there over the last 2 weeks. It stops right there. I don't know who this is, but CeeDee Lamb. There's a reason why he's up there, right? A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Smitty, JSN, Tucker Kraft, Rashee Rice, Hunter that 1 week, Pittman. There's Chimere Dike.
Yeah,
Draw your own conclusions, man. Like you just trust the usage.
Well, and you know what? It's cool that we're seeing this usage. I hope it continues.
Yes.
But when the question is he a buy low? No, because he's actually at his probably high point right now, and this is all you're getting in the environment. So this could continue. He could be a wide receiver 2 the rest of the year. If he gets this usage and Cam Ward just gets a little better week to week, like I would bet that he probably is in that, flex wide receiver 2-3 range the rest of the year, and that's fine. But it's a very volatile environment. You know what I mean? If anything changes next week or the week after, like he's not going to be able to even provide.
That's all. I think
that's all it is.
I think this is we need to talk about this a little bit more because on face value, you're like, hell yeah, buy low. Look at how much he's dominating the usage in this offense, right? Which is true.
Yep, young rookie, 20% target share, getting better with a rookie QB, like everything's wheels up, and it's like
that feels like the ceiling.
The ceiling isn't that high. Yes, exactly.
And then you go look at that layered on top, just go plot him against other players with similar usage, and you're like, man, I'd rather use this pick or to go get something else. Can I get somebody else? I'm not saying this is ways to interpret the data because all this is the data. There's no bias in here. All right, we're at the 10-minute mark, Scott, so we're going to rapid fire right now. Big T said if they start to convert field goals to TDs, yeah, that's the big thing. Chicago's just not scoring touchdowns. They're in the damn red zone. They're not scoring touchdowns. So to Scott's point, could be a get-right spot for against these Bengals. We got a request for Carolina the last 2 weeks, Scott, so I'm going to pull up the Panthers last 2 weeks. Love the point that you just made, and we kind of illustrated there. All right, I don't even know what I'm going to see, but I feel like it's going to be a lot of McMillan.
You know what it's not? That I haven't even looked at it yet? It is not Jalen Coker season. Like I was told last week when he came off.
It is not Coker season. I am very shocked. I'm very shocked. I was wondering why you keep saying Xavier the Get's name. I'm very shocked.
I mean, he must have read the Jaylen Coker season, because as soon as Coker came back, it's like, no way, I'm not relinquishing that wide receiver 2 spot anytime soon. So it's an interesting one. The reason I brought him up earlier as a guy you could trade is because he's had a couple good games. His usage has been pretty good, but I mean,
I know
it's still a bad environment.
Let me go.
Panthers are still a terrible environment.
Let me go what he did in week 8. Yeah, see what I mean? Like in week 8, he didn't do shit. So it looks good.
I was just looking at 7 and 8 when Coker was back.
Yeah, I get it. This is what I'm looking at. Like ultimately, all of that stuff. You got Coker back, Coker out, Coker in, now yada yada yada. Overall, it's one guy eating up all the usage and nobody else. And the usage that he's eating up is it's below the line. It's what Garrett Wilson and Drake London and those guys, the range that they lived in forever until they got a new quarter. I mean, look, every freaking time period. You know? Well,
you know what's is we just looked at the Titans.
I mean, it's just he's just below there, man. Everything.
Well, no, but we just looked at the now. The reason that this is good for Tet is this is for the entire season.
Correct.
DK's was just the last 2 weeks, so to be up where Tet is for an entire season, that's great.
Yes.
What I wanted to highlight though was that, and we talked about this on previous shows with Tet, is like he's doing everything he can do. Until the environment changes, I don't care if he's wide receiver 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, or whatever in your rankings. I'm probably always going to prefer somebody else in that range because of the environment they're in. Like, is Tet a guy you would add to get Rashee Rice? Rome Odunze?
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the type of bet you can make with a guy as valuable as him. You can't do it with Chimere Dike because I don't even anybody think he's any good.
Let's play this game. Would you add these high volume, low producers to get your Rashee Rice? Let's start low. Who is this? Alec Pierce, he's not worthy enough. Myers, not worthy enough. Watson, Nico Collins, below the line. Would you move Nico in order to get into Rashee Rice? Just, I'm not saying that this is the Bible, but like, would you move off of Nico to get into Rice?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move up the usage chain. You've got McMillan. Yes?
Yes. He's in what he's one of the ones that has the clout to be able to get you there. Come on. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going through the names at the bottom. Jaylen Waddle, Zay Flowers. Yes, right?
Yes.
Malik Neighbors is right on the line. Chris Olave. Yep. Drake London right at the line.
The answer is yes, because I think the Chiefs have the best environment. So it's not even a question that you would add to almost every one of these. Yes.
Emeka Egbuka.
Yes.
Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
You asked me 3 times. So yes.
Rome Odunze. Yes.
Yes.
Pickens.
Dude, you're tugging at the heartstrings because you know the environments that are probably, if you're looking for not buy Rashee Rice off of 2 massive games, the environments I'm most interested in still buying players if you can get them at all reasonably. The 49ers, the 49ers, the Falcons, and the Cowboys. Those are the other ones where like we could literally in the Niners are tough because they literally have 5 damn receivers.
Yeah, they do.
Or Kittle. So that's the part. The concentration isn't good. But man, like the Cowboys or the Falcons or even the Niners, we could literally look up in 2 or 3 games and it's like in 2 weeks, right? We could be looking at Drake London again. Like, damn, he looks like what Rashee Rice has done the last couple of weeks. Like
somebody won the Giants, Scott. Somebody won the Giants. I'm just, these are our members. They want I'm giving you the last 2 weeks. You want me to go just week 8?
Anything that removes Malik Neighbors, and it's not going to be that fun. But yeah, sure.
There's week 8.
Ugh. Oh, man.
That Jackson Dart's good for fantasy, though. He is.
For his own fantasy, yes.
Huh?
For his own fantasy, yes.
Yes, for his own fantasy, yes. This is week 8. I mean, when did Neighbors get hurt? Like week 4? Week 3?
They're not gonna do it, but just looking at their, let's just go 5 through 8.
5 through 8.
You notice that there's too many guys, right?
Yeah.
They're all at or below the line.
Yep.
And remember, this was the team. I mean, literally before their last 2 games, so before the Denver choke and then their game against Philly this past week. Like, remember, this was the team. People are going, man, can we get another receiver here? Can we get Jacoby Myers thrown in?
Oh yeah, get him over there.
Even though I like Jacoby Myers, I don't think you throw him in here, and I like him any better than the guys they already have. So this is not one of those ones yet where you want to wish cast another body in here.
Yes. So. Yep. Any other ones you want to hit on before we get out of here? This has been a fun. Let me just ask you is it crazy to think you go back to 2024, you go back to 2023, the Trinity scores for the Philadelphia Eagles look almost identical. The names have just flipped. Do you think there's any chance, like Smith he's looked good. Is there any chance the usage just starts to shift towards him more? Do you think that's a possibility in Philly?
I think it's possible, yeah.
I remove week 8 because A.J. Brown didn't play. Here's 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very possible. But you know what? Given that trend that they've had over the last 3 years, it almost doesn't matter because you can almost view those two as interchangeable. I think it's more of they're interchangeable now. Maybe you want the one that's a little younger, maybe has a little more ability to stay healthy or whatever, but they're interchangeable. And the beauty is I don't care which one I have. I'm not going to get a smash week every week, but don't you think that's fair to say? If you told me who you prefer in Dynasty, given they're both going to be in that situation for the next 2 years, it's probably like 1A, 1B, right? 1B, 1A in a given week. Like, I don't care.
Give me Smitty. He's a little younger. Give me Smitty, a little younger. All right, last one, Scott. Last one, and we're just going to the last week we had. What happens this week?
Did we look at him last week?
What happens? What happened, Scott? Did we see this again? Jacksonville and Travis Hunter. Did we see this again?
I don't know.
And there's no point to even go back further because he didn't do shit. So it's like this is like I'm just looking at week 7, right? There's no point to go back. If you want to just do it for the sake of the thing, here goes the team for the full season. Just average to below average.
Well, I think we can close this because we didn't get a game from Jacksonville, so there's nothing new to look at. We did talk about them on last week's show, so if you want to look at how our discussion on Hunter versus BTJ and all that went down, fair. But I think the discourse on BTJ this last week has been kind of interesting, and it's just a lesson in where we put him last year based on about a third of a season of games down the stretch. We elevated him into this range where he's just the alpha, right?
Yeah.
He's the dude. He's the alpha. And then you made some good points about what he did in college, where he fit on the LSU offense in college. Like, you never viewed him as he is the guy you're running the whole entire offense around.
No.
And then people kind of, I don't want to say they were in denial, but it was like, well, we don't really count the fact that Hunter was a top 10 pick because he was a defensive player. So it's like we kind of discounted that he could be the alpha based on, because typically when a team has a good receiver and then the next year they draft a guy in the top 10, that usually means the next guy is the one they want to build.
Is the alpha.
Not the guy they had before. So just thinking about BTJ doesn't mean he's bad, but I think you said he probably ends up settling in that, he is like the T. Higgins, like the George Pickens, like that's going to be his role, which is a correction from where he was before the year where he was wide receiver 8 in Dynasty. So just think about that. That doesn't mean don't buy him, but when he has another, because he's going to have another good game or two. He's too good, right? Like, he's probably going to have a big game here the next week, 2, 3. Remember when he has that game and you look at his Trinity and you're like, damn, that was a 7.5. What a great game. He's back. That might be the guy you go, can I get Rome for him? Can I get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put it into perspective, kind of where he ends up landing. And that doesn't mean he's bad, but that's how that was your point last week. That's probably where he lands. And I totally agreed with that.
Yep. All right. That's the show. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being members of DDFFB. I hope you guys find this content actionable. Hopefully it's a little entertaining. And more importantly, like, go look at the dots. Go follow the dots. Interpret the data. Come holler at us in the chat. Like, we love talking through this. And I think, Scott, that's the beauty of this, right? Like, there's no right or wrong answer. The data is the data, and then your interpretation of it and the situations, it just creates this type of topical conversation. The best usage tool in the game. Hashtag Trusted Trinity. Thank y'all for being members. We'll see y'all next week. Already going into week 9. Much love. We out. Peace.